Coming up on this brand new episode of Don't Panic, we've got big news from E3. That's right, all three E's, and we're going to be talking about tonight news from Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Bethesda, and even more. Plus, news from Taylor Swift, mayorships, and Project Lightning. It's a chock-full episode, and we're going to hope you join us as we talk the tech news right now. This is Don't Panic, episode number 95, recorded June 22nd, 2015. On Fallout 4, Halo 5, and Super Mario Infinity. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Don't Panic, the technology podcast that is happy to have Taylor Swift on its side. I'm Sean Jennings, and I am joined by the Mario and Luigi of technology. It is Dan Miller and Colby Rabideau. Sirs, how are we doing tonight?
Good.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. We're talking about the news with you two fine gentlemen.
It is exciting. It's the highlight of my week.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet.
So
all
early
the
on in your week.
All the feels.
I know.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. You can tell we're high energy. It's Monday after all. We appreciate you listening. We do the show Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, live on the YouTubes. I recommend you watch it. We actually had some people in the YouTube chat last week. I'm going to see if we can get some more back this week. We also had our first ever YouTube dislikes on last week's show.
Ooh,
really?
Three people took the time to dislike us on YouTube.
That's really exciting. Did they give a reason for disliking?
That's
or
the
was
beauty
it
of
just
YouTube. It's just one click. I dislike it.
Fascinating.
Click, three people. Click.
Do either of you watch Last Week Tonight or This Week Tonight, John Oliver's show?
I don't get HBO.
I don't usually watch it now. I should, though, because I enjoy it when I have seen it.
You should, and it's only 30 minutes once per week, so it's not like a huge burden to... It's a great have in the background while you're eating dinner thing. Anyways, they had one about online harassment today, or I guess whenever it came out, sometime in the past couple of days. It was pretty good. Talked about YouTube comments. I thought maybe you could empathize, Sean.
I feel for it. We've had some pretty inappropriate YouTube comments on our show, as I've shared before with you two gentlemen. People just, I guess, have nothing better to do.
But not on the air. You have not shared them on the air.
No, and this is a family program, Dan.
You don't know if Grandma Flo might be listening?
Well, you know, kids and their parents sit down in front of their old-timey podcast radio and gather around, listen to the new Don't Panic. Oh, boy, Dad, can we listen to Don't Panic? You bet, son. So no profanity, but let's just say people have said very weird things on YouTube. So
yeah, weird's a good way of putting it.
No one. So if you're watching and you like the show, say nice things in the comments about us, or even like constructive criticism is welcome.
I feel like the worst way to get people to say nice things about you is to ask them to say nice things about you, especially people on the internet.
That's so true. Please say nice things about us.
It's a dangerous game.
Please, I'm begging you. Say just anything nice. Anything nice. Oh man, we're just asking for it. Well, let's just jump right into the news. We've got a lot of news. We teased this last week. We went long on WWDC, so we didn't get a chance to cover it last week. We're going to get to it this week. E3 trivia. Do you guys know what the three E's are?
Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Hey! Dan gets
Boom.
points. Look at that.
I wasn't prepared.
Oh my god. Colby, this was
I'm
your
an
warm-up
acronym
for
master.
Wednesday.
Let's run that acronym trivia game again. Let's see how I do.
No,
that was WWW.
Let's just say I'm kind of glad the short-lived trivia segment is in its grave.
Why?
That never quite... I don't think... Do you guys want to bring the trivia back? I never thought it worked quite right. I always thought it was a little weird.
I thought there were a couple that were fun.
I enjoyed all of them, but maybe for the home audience, as someone listening, it might not be as much fun as it is to participate.
Well,
That's true.
we'll ask the crowd. If you want me to bring back the trivia segment, just ask. And I guess there's no better time than the present to tease this week on our sister show, The Goldilocks Zone. We are having our first ever game show episode where co-host Matt Mariani is going to be challenged to trivia excellence by none other than Colby Rabideau. They're going to go head-to-head in a series of trivia challenges to determine who is the smartest. I recommend you watch GoldilocksShow.com, and special announcement, it's going to be the first ever Goldilocks Zone we're streaming live on our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to watch Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. GoldilocksShow.com.
It's going to be crazy.
/live, if you're watching live. Okay, E3, where do you gentlemen want to start? Got a lot of options.
Should we start with the... Go ahead.
I'm just going to throw some trivia in there while we're talking about trivia. The Trivia Championships of North America are taking place the first week of August in Las Vegas.
Hey!
So if you fancy yourself a trivia expert,
go
maybe...
out there.
Yeah, give it a shot. Anyways, yeah, let's... Do we have a chronological order here? I feel like no, I don't remember what I heard about first.
Bethesda, I think, was technically first, or Oculus Rift, I think, was technically first, but...
Oh, yeah!
I don't think the order
that
really
was
matters.
Terrible. That was terrible. We have to start with that. It was so bad.
All right, Dan, well,
Was it
you seem to
bad?
have a strong opinion, so...
I don't remember any... This is how... I'm going to preface this whole thing by saying this. I watched it. I don't remember anything that they said. All I remember was how poorly it was presented.
Such as, for those who didn't watch it, give us the play-by-play.
It's just like, I don't remember specifically, but all of those typically cringeworthy moments that you look for in a company's on-stage announcement where they like make some super corny jokes and then like, oh, what was the thing he said at the end where it was like some Google-esque like, our goal here is to make this, like, the experiences you have in the Oculus Rift even better than reality. And it's like, no, that's not what I want, Oculus Rift. I don't want it to be better than reality. I just want something better than what I already have. I don't want you to, like, it's like Google coming up and saying, like, our goal is to be able to predict everything that you're going to do the rest of your life. That might be your goal, but don't come out and say it because you're literally playing to everyone's worst fears. It was bad.
That's fair.
So what did they actually announce? But
well, I was going to say, do you think they get some leeway because, I don't know, have they presented at E3 before? I guess I assume they have in some capacity, but this is their first, like, legit one, I feel like.
Maybe they got some...
Also, who the heck was that guy up there? They have so many more famous people. They have, like, the guy who founded it first, and then they had the guy who wrote Doom, John Carmack, who joined. It was sort of a big deal. Where was he? And instead we got this other dude who saying these freaky things.
The CEO
it was just maybe
of
that
the company?
freaky thing. He's not the CEO, is he?
The guy who presented was the CEO.
Oh, is the CEO no longer the founder? Are we at that stage of the startup now?
Maybe not.
Also, aren't they owned by Facebook now?
Well, I was going to say,
guess
maybe they took awkward presentation lessons from Mark Zuckerberg. He's got a lot to teach. So quickly, some of the things they announced, Oculus. First of all, a partnership with Microsoft. Pretty soon you'll be able to play Xbox One games using the Oculus Rift and your Xbox controller. No specific games were mentioned. They didn't say how many games or even when it would launch, but that they are going to be compatible, and an Xbox gamepad will ship with the Oculus Rift as well when it ships early next year.
Okay, that's one thing they announced.
They announced, of course, the final design on the headset, which is kind of like, it's a virtual reality headset. It's got,
right.
It looks like a big.
It's not
chunky
as
thing
ugly as the
attached to your
first
face.
one.
Yes, it's an improvement. They also announced a next generation input device. They call it Oculus Touch. It will not be available at launch with the Oculus. It is coming at some point in the future. And it's designed to understand your gestures a little more than, I guess, an Xbox controller. It can understand the presence of your hands and understand gestures like a thumbs up. It has analog triggers and buttons and thumbsticks, but it can also detect finger poses like pointing and waving, and things of that nature. I've got a picture of it here. I'll put it up on screen. It kind of looks like little, like, Bluetooth. They almost kind of look like Bluetooth earpieces almost, that you have one in each hand. And I guess they're smart and they do things.
Yeah, it was very difficult. It's coming back to me. I couldn't tell how it worked from the presentation. It's probably one of those things you have to try to understand it. Because it looked like it was detecting where your fingers were in relation to these things too.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Like the circle things on the controllers that like wrap around your hand have like there are sensors on the outside and on the inside, so like they can tell where your fingers are inside of the controller and also like where the controller is in space.
Yeah, that's cool.
And some games as well.
We do need something like that.
Yes. Yeah, and then they just announced some games that are going to be available at launch, and that's pretty much it.
Cool.
No specific release date other than it's coming next year. So, a minor announcement.
I'm not sure that.
Did they say any specific time next year?
It just said next year. I know. I know. Right in time to miss holiday season. Good job.
Anyways, what were you gonna say, Colby? You didn't know if.
Oh, I don't know if I'm interested in that.
Ooh.
I think VR is not the experience I really want from. I could be wrong,
but certainly there will exist a form of VR that you will want to experience, right?
Maybe
regularly.
Yeah.
No, or no?
I just can't get over the possibility that I would like be sitting in my apartment, like with this thing on my head while Jill was like going about her life in the apartment, and I was completely detached from real life.
Yeah, but you're telling me you've never watched Netflix and done the same thing on your TV? I've done that. Where you it's different, you're right, but it's kind of a logical extension.
Right, but like, what would happen if someone tapped you on the shoulder? That would be terrifying. You would have no idea what was coming.
Yeah, no,
Or I'm imagining a Colin scenario where the fire alarm is going off and I have no idea.
And I like to imagine Colby on the Titanic just sitting in his deck chair, no idea it's sinking with his virtual reality. Just going down with the ship.
Little Bluetooth headsets on his hand.
Yeah, no, you want augmented reality, not virtual reality. I want HoloLens.
Right,
which is an excellent segue.
No. I'm going to stick on this one for a second.
Whoa.
So did you all read that story a couple months ago where Star Wars, the new movie, had this promotion where you could get in an X-Wing and fly around and like you're in the X-Wing, but you also have agency over where you're going? No? It was pretty cool. You're in an actual X-Wing, but then the visor came down and you could it was completely enclosing. That's the dream. Like when you get tactile feel and you can, a Star Wars movie comes out and you're not just viewing it through some weird omniscient third party. You're an actual person in all the things. It blurs the line between video game and movie, but there are types of things that I think will be possible with this when it's good that we aren't even imagining.
Yep.
Being able to virtually tour anything in near perfect fidelity, houses, art shows, the space station. Imagine putting the virtual reality headset and hanging out with the astronauts actually in space.
Be cool. I think it's interesting for work scenarios where you work remotely, and I don't know, and you have a meeting. You can be in the same room,
That's the easy one, I think. Though, what changes about how we interact with computing devices when anything is possible? You're not constrained by any physical UI or hardware.
But I kind of compare it to the smartphone, where you could probably guess what a small computer in your pocket would be able to do. I can get email, and I can you can guess that. I don't think anyone would have guessed what putting a good camera in a smartphone would have done. That was really something I think that was a use that came after that people finally realized, wow, this is has changed, I think, the world almost as much as simply having a smartphone did.
Yeah.
So I think that VR is going to succeed. I just don't think that the one thing that's really the wow, or that we're going to look back and say it's obvious. I don't think we know that today.
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I will give you that. Too early to tell. But yes, you do look. Did you see the VR guy on the subway picture that was going around? There was a picture going around of, you know, the Samsung one where you can put your Galaxy in it.
Oh yeah.
There was a guy on, I think it must have been New York City, I'm assuming, on the subway with one of those, and some guy.
I mean, it could have been the BART. Let's be real.
Yes, it could have been.
Oh no, it was the L train in Manhattan.
Yeah, and they took a picture of a guy on there doing VR stuff with all these people around him. It was great.
And a video too.
And a video. It was quite embarrassing. So.
Oh, you gotta admire it though. This guy doesn't care at all.
No, hey, if you're doing that,
especially because I guess he doesn't have headphones in. If you don't have headphones in, then what's the point? Because then imagine how easy it would be to miss your stop.
I think the plastic headset has headphones in, though. I'm trying to remember. One of them does. It might be the Samsung one. So
no, his ears are totally uncovered.
Are they?
That's
okay.
Amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a future we have to look forward to. Let's go ahead and move on. We teased Microsoft and HoloLens. Why don't we just go there? Microsoft, one of the big video game companies, hardware and software, had their announcement at E3. A couple big highlights, including, at the top of the list, Xbox One playing 360 games. What does this mean? The Xbox One currently is not compatible with Xbox 360 games. If you have a big stack of games from your old Xbox, they will not work on the Xbox One. They said that right from the get-go. And people were not happy because their games stopped working. Not that people didn't care when their PS2 games didn't work on their PS3, but whatever. What I will say, Microsoft announced that they have essentially built from scratch an emulator that runs on Xbox One that simulates a 360. You plug your games in and you can play them. So they say the first batch of games will be available around the end of this year, so it's not you just put in a game. They have to specially, I guess, build it for each game. But they say around 100 by the end of this year, and there will be more coming after that, and there is no additional fee for this, so you'll just get the update as part of your Xbox One.
And so is do you have to rebuy the game, or does just having the disc for the game qualify you to play your game?
It's just like owning an Xbox 360, so you plug the disc in, it will work, as well as if you have the digital version you paid for, it will also work.
Nice.
With the 360 emulator.
That's cool.
Gamers are very happy.
I believe it. I feel like that's one of the things that convinced me to get a PlayStation, because I had an Xbox before, and I was like, well, I could get a PS4 or an Xbox One, and either way, the games I have aren't going to work, so fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating.
I want to give him
Although,
go ahead.
Huh? Oh, I mean, I was hoping with digital this would be less of an issue, but yeah, that was all.
I just think that the programming side of it's neat. Like, they had to build an entire emulator, and they did it. Whoever is in charge of PS4 for Sony came out, and he's like, I have no idea how they did it.
No. All right, it's way harder for the PlayStation. I'm going to confirm this, so I'm not talking out of my rear.
It's all we do here on the show, Dan. Please don't stray from the norms, or people will get confused that we're talking about legitimate things.
Oh, come on. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that the Xbox 360 and no, I don't know. All right. I'm pretty sure that the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One run on the same processor. Remember, Sean, when the Intel became the new provider of the Mac?
Oh, from PowerPC, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone had to rewrite all their software.
Mm-hmm.
That's the equivalent of what PlayStation would have to do to port games from 3 to 4, whereas right now it would be like moving software from a Mac to a PC.
Oh, so it was a big hardware change, is what you're saying, from the 3 to the 4.
Yes.
Like on the underlying architecture.
Yeah.
So
you'd actually have to write a CPU emulator to emulate the whole thing, whereas I think all that the 360 people had to do was write new versions of the libraries that emulate what would be like what sort of tools you had for a 360 game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft wouldn't do this if they didn't feel they had to. I mean, we've talked about on the show before that PlayStation has gotten a much better reputation among gamers. They're generally perceived as being positive. Xbox Ones aren't selling as well as they used to, and are being outpaced by the PlayStation 4. I think this is something that I think Microsoft really had to do to save face in many ways with consumers and buy back some of that goodwill. And if that means putting a big group of engineers on putting this together, I think from the PR
I totally
side,
lied. The Xbox 360 runs on almost the exact same CPU as the PlayStation 3 does.
Yeah.
So no, they did put a lot of effort into it. And where was the Xbox 360 CPU manufactured?
Jupiter.
East Fishkill, New York,
Hey!
according to Wikipedia. There you go.
And
Wow.
stuff there. Outstanding. So, yeah. So I think that's really neat. And I don't know. Maybe they'll sell more Xbox Ones. I guess we'll see. Certainly, people holding off on updating. We also saw a new Xbox One controller. They call it the Elite controller. This is not your average controller. It's designed for the I hate to use the term hardcore gamers. Gamers with a Z.
So what term are you going to use?
Gamers with a Z is what I'm going to go with. Gamers, and then there's like a 3 in there somewhere as an E. It's the Xbox One Elite wireless controller. It's got a lot of stuff. I'll just read some off here. It's got interchangeable paddles around the back that you can program to do different functions. It's got hair trigger locks for precise control and shooters, remappable buttons, and swappable components. You can take out the joysticks and plug in different components as well. You'll have customization of thumbstick sensitivity and levels for the triggers. There is going to be a standalone app for Xbox One and Windows 10 that'll allow you to set all kinds of crazy settings on this new controller. Those preferences are stored in the cloud and are synced when you move your controller to a different device. However, how much would you pay for an Elite Xbox controller?
Well, the regular ones are like $65 or $70, aren't they?
Which is kind of a ripoff, but yeah, I think that's about right.
I don't know. I'd pay like $100.
$100?
Especially if I have to buy additional accessories after the fact.
So wait, what is it? Does it give you more buttons?
Yeah, it gives you 4 extra triggers on the back.
Well, what games are even going to use those?
I don't know.
If you're a game developer, like most people are not going to have one of these. So what do you like? You're not going to design a game around someone having one of these Elite controllers. So I bet the back buttons are going to be used for stupid things.
I don't know for sure because they didn't say. My guess is because you're programming them through an app on the Xbox One. There's got to be some kind of in each game controller mapping because don't they? You have to do that for PC.
Well, PC is different. I don't think console games usually let you just remap the controls. They're usually like fixed, or they give you a couple preset ones to choose from.
That's true. Well, maybe the Microsoft the companion app lets you do it at the somehow at the hardware level or something, like at the controller level rather than if you wanted to remap B to your bottom right paddle on the bottom, you could do that.
You know, your guess, Dan, honestly, is as good as mine. They don't say in the announcement.
Oh, you can use this with Windows, so I guess, for that, it makes way more sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some way.
And you're right. It says there's an app on Xbox One and Windows 10 that allows you to remap the things.
Yeah, so there's got to be some kind of way that the games are, when they're built for the Xbox One, must allow it. Because they don't say games, any specific games will work with it. They just say it'll work throughout the thing, so... and to answer your question, available in October for the elite price of $149.99.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pricey.
I'm good.
You'll stick with your regular old controller?
Yeah. Or the most precise gaming controller in the world, a mouse and keyboard.
Wow, look at you, Dan, throwing shade at consoles.
Consoles are fun. I play them way more now, but if my life depended on doing well in a first-person shooter, I would use a mouse and a keyboard.
I think that's fair. I think most people would probably agree as well. So, let's continue on. Play Xbox One games before they're released. They call it game preview. You can buy and play unfinished versions of games where you beta test them in exchange for getting to play them sooner. It'll be only for specific games that allow it, but it'll be built right into the Xbox One architecture as well. Similar to Steam's Early Access program if you're a user of that. And then lastly, they announced a large series of games: Gears of War 4, Halo 5, new Tomb Raider, Minecraft for HoloLens, the Rare Replay Collection, which is a bunch of old Rare games like Perfect Dark and Banjo-Kazooie, and a bunch of those old Rare games as well will be included in that package. Forza Motorsport 6, and so on.
What did you guys think about the Minecraft thing?
What?
What part
The
of it?
Minecraft HoloLens demo?
Oh, right.
To me, it's kind of like Minecraft is like the new Angry Birds, where if they can put it on something, they will. You know, it's like Minecraft for your Apple Watch. Be like, okay, I totally buy that they're going to do that. Like, it just seems like the new game to just put on everything, and that's fine. And I think it's a good fit for HoloLens because it does play into that sort of building 3D, like Lego would be almost a good comparison for something that'd be cool with HoloLens.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like virtual Legos.
Yeah, so short of like actually building like with real like architects doing stuff, I think it's a good demo product, and the fact that Microsoft owns them, helps too. So, seems like a bit of a no-brainer.
But they didn't actually show in any of these Minecraft HoloLens demos you ever interacting with it. You're just looking at it. That was where this time, the first time I didn't think about it. This time I was like, wait, but with HoloLens, how do I pick up these little tiny blocks and put them? It's sort of cool because I can imagine you get really close and then you don't need to have super precise, because it does hand stuff, right? They were showing that off at the last demo at the Microsoft event.
Yeah, I think it was just this specific demo that didn't show it. They say that interactions will be enabled by voice and also by what they call an air tap gesture, where you raise your index finger and tap down and it'll do stuff. It's such an early version of of HoloLens. I'm not surprised that they're kind of slow on what features and how well the demos work.
Yeah. Sweet.
Cool. All right, let's continue on because we've just got so much news. It's crazy. What would you gentlemen like to talk about next? We can do Sony. We can do Nintendo, Bethesda, EA.
Man. I don't remember which games would go with which one. The only one I know is Bethesda. EA was pretty cool too.
Well, we can go through EA quick because EA is just all games. There's not a ton of hardware stuff, so I think we can go through that.
Oh, all right.
Pretty quick.
All right.
Dan, stop me if it gets interesting.
I will.
I think I know which one you want to talk about.
Oh, so there are two that I want to talk about equally much. So
I think I know what those two are. First of all, I know you want to talk about NBA Live 16. And the fact that it has a new face scanning app called Game Face HD that makes a 3D version of your face with Kinect and puts you in the game. So get psyched about that. You can be a player. You can go Mad Duncan.
I am a player, Sean.
You a playa with an N. Let's see. A new game, Mirror's Edge, a sequel. Also a new Need for Speed because we needed one. Mass Effect as well. Andromeda. Holiday 2016. So you got to wait a whole another year. I know. I feel for you. And what I think are the two Dan wants to talk about, first being...
That Mass Effect was the one I
Oh, was it? See, I thought you were excited for Unravel, which I know got a lot of buzz.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a puzzle platformer about a ball of yarn, but it's like a person, and they do yarn things. I don't know. It's one of those games where everyone's like, wow, it looks so cool, and then you realize it's like all the other games.
I'm excited for Star Wars.
Let's talk Star Wars Battlefront. New game, multiplayer, and you get to do a lot of cool stuff. November 17th for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Guys, what's got you excited about this? I don't play video games, so I'm gonna lean on the two gentlemen who do.
So this is like as close as I could get to that experience I described, where you're sort of participating in the movie, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. This time we actually got a gameplay demo, and it's still like, it was really easy to imagine that you're actually in a Star Wars movie there. The animations didn't feel very jilted. Things didn't seem weird. It seemed like anything was possible, and you could, like, I think in one of the reviews I read, someone, like, they let journalists play the level, and, like, the Empire won, and it's like, oh, that doesn't happen in the movies. It looks so cool. It's so much fun to, like, be a squad of people, just regular people trying to take down Darth Vader. I have super fond memories of the old Jedi Knight games, so I'm nervous about how the lightsaber stuff is going to turn out, because it could easily be really bad. But if it's like the old Jedi Knight games, then that's going to be crazy. Like, if it's just a Jedi on a battlefield, you can just wipe out the whole team yourself, which would also be pretty cool. So that's why I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I just played for everyone at home. If you're watching the video version, some of the gameplay footage they showed at E3, and it actually looked pretty cool. You know me, I'm not Mr. Video Game, but I was like, I am a fan of multiplayer, but I'm kind of over like the Halo style or the Call of Duty style. And I'm looking for like a new multiplayer that doesn't feel like those, and this felt kind of different.
Yeah, it's more the Battlefront style, it seemed like.
Yeah, it really it looked good, so I was actually impressed. That'll be neat. Like I said, November 14th.
Hey, that's this year. We'll get to play that before we even see the new Star Wars movie.
That's very true. It's very true. Good timing on that.
We've got that to look forward to, at least.
Yes, indeed. All right,
I'm still just can't believe that Dragon Age Inquisition is over.
Did you finish it?
Oh no, I finished it months and months ago, right? And I picked on the show, and I didn't stop talking about it. And then I picked up The Witcher because I thought, oh, this might be a fun game. And now I'm stuck in this part. It's just so hard. And I went back and I opened up Dragon Age Inquisition just to make myself feel better, because I was actually good at that game. And there's a new DLC out, so I can't wait to have another free weekend so I can sit down and play Dragon Age Inquisition again. So, anyways, Mass Effect is also made by these people, and I need more of their storylines in my life.
Nice.
Cool. Is it really that good? Like, should I be playing it?
You don't strike me as the type of person who plays video games for the storyline ever.
No, I enjoy playing video games for the storyline. That's almost all I like playing video games for.
I thought you liked playing them to just, like, mow down as many people as you can.
Those games don't have stories?
I enjoy that. Like, I enjoy that's what I liked playing. I mean, that's what I liked about Call of Duty. But I also enjoyed the Call of Duty stories. I feel like I'm the only person that still plays the single player in Call of Duty.
Yeah. Well, there are a couple that were good. Anyways, yeah, if you like RPGs, and this isn't a super hardcore RPG where you need to think about the talents you're choosing and all that stuff, but if you like that sort of style, it's like a real-time RPG thing, but then you can also pause. So, like, if you're just blowing through some low-level minions, like, you just no pausing, you just, like, hammer away at them all. But then in the boss fight, you probably want to step through and pause so you make sure you make all the right moves, because one wrong move will cost you. The storyline is super good. you don't really need to know the rest of the story, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do want to, just play the first one, skip the second one, because the second one's terrible.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Anyways, a repick Dragon Age Inquisition. I'm still thinking about it.
Fallout.
Fallout. Oh, another good
4,
game, though.
Bethesda. We gotta go there. I know Colby is excited for this at a minimum. I know he's Mr. Fallout.
I'm excited too.
Fallout
You would
4,
like this game a lot, Sean.
I honestly, Fallout 4 may be the reason I get a console.
Wow.
If anything was going to push me over the edge, especially because I've been playing Fallout Shelter and enjoying it, but we'll get to that later. I need an excuse to spend more money.
Right.
Fallout 4 coming November 10th, 2015 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Just to let you know, big highlights include it taking place in Boston.
Boston?
Yep. Fallout in Boston.
I'm going to find my apartment.
How funny. That would actually be pretty great. I wonder how accurate it really is. Did Colby's apartment withstand
was pretty
the
accurate.
end of the world? I don't know.
Yeah.
You see Colby in the window.
It's just a skeleton with the VR goggles on.
Oh, that's awesome. It's going to be like the other Fallout games, but some changes that are interesting are it adds the ability for you to build your own homestead in addition to exploring the wilderness and quests and visiting towns and all that. You scavenge for materials, but you get to build your own sort of world, your own little homestead. It's optional, but you can do that if you want to kind of distract yourself from the story. You can also build weapons and armor, over 700 modifications for both, and you get to make cool combinations and sort of build things there as well. And that's and you get a dog, which was also sort of one of the big takeaways from the announcement as well.
Did you talk about the base building thing?
Yes, building the homestead.
Yeah, the homestead.
Oh, the homestead. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. See, I would really like to play Fallout right now, and I just can't. Like, the first one or even New Vegas, I would be down for either of those, and I can't have them because it's impossible.
I used to, again, going back to my Jedi Knight days, there was this mod for the game where it turned one of the guns into this gun where you could copy elements from the world and paste them in other places.
Nice.
And we'd build these forts and like have these fort battles. Ever since then, this is why Minecraft appeals to me. Being able to build a base, and did it say you could have people in it too? Like people would come to your homestead?
The more you build, the more people move in. And the more likely you are to attract raiders.
Oh my gosh.
And not the nice
And then
Oakland
defending
raiders.
it from the raiders? Yeah. I was so excited about that.
Yep.
Cool. So look forward to that. In addition to launching Fallout 4, they also announced Fallout Shelter, which is a mobile game for your mobile device. That is sort of a I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it. It's sort of that it's like those mobile games where you build something over time and there's a clock on everything and it makes you wait, but if you're impatient, you can spend your actual money to make things go faster. You know that style of game? Pocket Trains, Tiny Tower. It's not an uncommon way of going about mobile games. Fallout Shelter is very similar, but I think a lot better. I don't want to get too much into the details because I know Colby is going to talk about it a little later.
We'll revisit.
We will revisit. Just know it's available for free on iOS right now, although there are in-app purchases. No plans to release it on Android. FYI. Quickly, other stuff about Bethesda. Dishonored 2 is coming. The Elder Scrolls Legends is coming. And new Doom as well, including modding and level creation tools. If any of that is your thing. Let's see. More news, gentlemen. What would you like to talk about next? We can do more video games. We can move on to some other stuff. We've still got Sony and Nintendo here. We can talk. What floats your boat?
I'm always off focus on this. Let's do Nintendo because I remember stuff from Nintendo, and then I'll look at the Sony stuff.
Okay. Nintendo, all about the games this time around. Nothing else interesting in terms of software or hardware. In terms of games, Super Mario Maker, September 11th available. And it allows you to build your own levels and mod the game. They call it Mario Maker. And there's all kinds of like throwbacks and 8-bit stuff in there, and all kinds of things like that as well. Let's see. Star Fox is back. Star Fox Zero as well. Coming out this holiday season.
And that's a flying one, right? Not one of those dumb, like that Star Fox dinosaur one we had a couple years ago.
You will have, as they put it, quote, energetic space battles.
Okay, good. That's what I want.
Energetic space battles.
What more could you ask for?
I don't like my space battles, like, lethargic.
We also saw a new Legend of Zelda, Triforce Heroes, for 3DS. You solve puzzles, make your way through dungeons, all that sort of usual Zelda stuff. A new Animal Crossing game, a new Metroid Prime game, a new Mario Tennis game, because I know people really were missing Mario Tennis, so get psyched for that.
People were. That was a good game.
And available now for the Wii U. And then Yoshi's Woolly World, another yarn game, which I did not realize this was a trend at E3.
Right, yeah, I got caught off guard when you said the yarn one. I was like, wasn't that the Nintendo yarn one?
And I'm thinking there might have even been a third that I can't put a name on, but it was around a lot. It's called Yoshi's Woolly World. Same people who made Kirby's Epic Yarn, if you remember that. So it's not surprising. It's kind of an extension of that. Yoshi, you go around and everything is made of like yarn and fabric. And it'll be available in October. All these games will, it seems like, be available at some point this fall before Christmas.
Sweet. Yeah, between the Splatoon game, Star Fox, and the Yoshi one, I'm actually pretty excited about the Nintendo lineup.
But do you own a Wii?
No.
Oh, so you can't play any of them.
How much could a Wii U cost at this point? Aren't they just trying to sell them all off?
they're giving them away.
Look up a report back.
Yeah.
$300. Okay.
This is why they have to make mobile games. I'm telling you, people would pay $20 for the iOS version of this. Easy.
60.
Easy. I'm shocked they don't do that. It's amazing. It's amazing to think back when Apple first did apps. In that keynote announcement, they were talking about games selling on average for $20.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the expected price.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So wrong. We have time for one more, so we can do Sony would be the last E3, or we can talk Microsoft's canceled smartwatch, Taylor Swift v. Apple, the return of mayorships, Project Lightning. Any of that sound good to you guys?
Wait, there was one, two cool things at the Sony thing we should talk about.
Okay, let's wrap up with Sony. E3 end to end.
First, the Uncharted 4 trailer gameplay was incredible. Did either of you watch that?
I have not. I'd love to hear about it. What was the story there?
When I was talking about like Star Wars cinematic, like it looks like you're in a movie, but you feel like you have agency over what's happening. Uncharted has always been the master of that. In this number 4, it looks perfect. Like, I was reading this interview, and they're like, nothing is 100% scripted. So in a lot of games, like, you'll be running over to a point, and then the game will take over control from you, and there'll be some explosion, right? And then your character will, like, topple down. They said in this one, there's much, much less of that, and if they're going to do something like that, there'll actually be an explosion, and your character will actually be thrown, and you will actually have to try to recover from it, instead of, like... And then, like, who knows how the rocks are going to fall? Things aren't guaranteed. It just sounded so cool, and the gameplay footage looked beautiful, very high production value, so I was excited about that. And I was also excited... Yeah?
Before we move on, did you notice that there's they're I forget what it's called, but like they're re-releasing the first 3 Uncharted's on PS4, like remastered.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
have
is
you
pretty
played
interesting.
Any of those, Colby?
No, I haven't.
Ooh.
So I'm pretty excited for that.
They're really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they're one of the best games ever to sit down with someone. Not that it's co-op, but to sit down and play with someone because they're so cinematic and engaging. But there are puzzles where like it's useful to have a second person looking at it a different way.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
A good date night game, you would say?
Right, yeah. What was the other thing? I clicked through to
I could guess.
Oh, well, guess, Sean.
Is it PlayStation View?
No.
No.
Oh, was that a serious guess?
Well, yeah, they're finally they have announced no date or specifics, but they're finally going to let users subscribe to one channel at a time through their TV service. They didn't say the price.
Missed that.
They did not say when. They didn't say what channels, but you will be able to pay for a single channel, which nobody else has been able to do.
Wow.
So that's
great.
That's crazy. No, I was excited about the No Man's Sky stuff. Have either of you heard about this game?
Yeah, I have.
So basically, it's a open universe sandbox where they're procedurally generated millions or maybe it's even billions of worlds. And the likelihood is that throughout the lifetime of this game, not only will no one in the entire world see all of them, but perhaps no one will even see most of them. And so, like, there will always be things that are completely undiscovered. You can change landscapes, fly around in your spaceship, trade items, affect geopolitical wars that are happening, and all of this is non-scripted, totally controlled by the AI. So that was really cool. I'm excited. It reminded me a lot of why we were excited about Spore a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it turned out that Spore was a little too on the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I think we covered all the E3 stuff I'm excited about.
Yeah, this game is interesting, No Man's Sky. I will point out that the trailer was shown at last year's E3, and again at this year's E3, and there's still no details as to when the game is going to be.
They showed actual gameplay footage at this E3.
Okay,
yeah.
So there's improvement.
Yes. Yes, that is a little worrisome.
You got to be careful with the overpromise, underdeliver.
Right.
But it seems pretty neat. So I'm all for games that want to push the limit. I've had enough Call of Duty sequels.
Yeah, seriously.
That was the
Black
joke.
Ops 3, come on.
Well, that was the joke in the title of the show tonight, where it's Fallout 4, Halo 5, and Mario Infinity. It's like the fun never stops with these repeats. So anytime they do something independent, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to that one, Star Wars, Fallout 4. And also the remastered Uncharted, because I think that'll be pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'm excited to dumping several $100s on a game console I'll never use. So.
Dump it on, Sean.
Probably a PlayStation, because all of my friends, you guys, have PlayStation. And also any of the kind of super Microsoft exclusive stuff like Halo, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Most of the games I would play are multi-platform, and the few Microsoft exclusives really don't do anything for me.
Here's another fun fact. How long and when was the longest gap between when a Super Mario game was released? A Mario platformer.
That would have to be... I wouldn't know the specific year, but that's probably around the development... but before the launch of the GameCube.
Yeah, you're totally right. Between 1996 and 2002, no Super Mario game was released.
Yeah, because the development of the GameCube was such a I don't know if disaster is the right word, but was so problematic that I'm not surprised that's when I thought they'd have missed a chunk of time.
Crazy.
Great fun fact, Dan, and a great lead-in to our picks this week. And as we talked about, I think since we've teased it so much, I think we have to have Colby go first. I think that's only fair that he goes first and talks to us about Fallout Shelter. Colby, while you're doing that, for the fine folks at home, I'm actually going to put my shelter up on the screen.
Wow! I wish I could see it.
Yeah,
You're lucky,
Dan,
fine folks at home.
You'll just have to watch the YouTube version.
Oh wait, yeah, I can pull that up right now.
Yes, you can.
That's true.
All right, so go ahead, Colby.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like Sean introed Fallout Shelter pretty well. Like, it's like one of those games where you have to wait for things to happen. But at the same time, it's not. So.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I see a phone.
Hang on, folks. Are you there, Colby?
I'm here.
I'm sorry. I
there?
always forget air server when I AirPlay my phone. It mutes the computer, so you just cut off and I stop hearing you. So no, you continue. You're good.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I was saying I think Sean described it pretty well. It's the idea is that you're like the overseer of a vault in Fallout. So if you're not familiar with Fallout, the vaults were these like giant subterranean bunkers that this company called Vault Tech built and charged people to live in, so they could theoretically survive the coming nuclear holocaust, which
did happen.
Yeah, right, right. Some of them did survive, but yeah, and I guess basically it's kind of like a. I guess I don't know if resource management game is the right description, but like they're all, so you have like your vault dwellers, and like they all have different skills and they're good at different jobs, and you build different rooms that produce resources. So you need like a water purification system, and you need power, and you need to make food, obviously. And so the vault dwellers do the work, and you have to keep everything in balance. Like if you have too many dwellers, they'll eat all your food and they'll start to die, or they'll drink all the water and they'll start to get sick. And then there are all kinds of other things. You can send people out to like explore the wasteland, and they get in fights, and like they find stuff. They find like money and like outfits that have special abilities and weapons and things. And then there are raider attacks, so bad guys like break down your door and try and kill your people, and you have to fend them off. But it's really fun, and it's really like Sean said, it's like all the things take time, so they might take minutes, or it might take 3 minutes to like refresh your water supply or something. So there's a lot of like, you kind of go into the game and like collect all the resources that have like been produced, and then sometimes you can leave because there's nothing else to do really. But I've been playing it for like 3 days now, and I find myself going back to it like every 15 minutes, which is very interesting. And it is pretty challenging. Like it is not forgiving, I guess. Like it does not take a lot to unbalance your system, and once your system is unbalanced too much, it's very kind of hard to recover. I've done it several times where I had to, like, your vault dwellers can have children, and I several times I've had too many babies, and the babies eat food and drink water, but they can't work until they grow up. So I had all these people consuming all these supplies, but not enough like resource production, and I almost had a really bad time, but I saved it at the last second. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's really fun, and it's not. So correct me if I'm wrong. There are in-app purchases, but you can't. There aren't in-app purchases to like make time go by faster. Like you can't use an in-app purchase to
Yeah, it's different because there are ones that speed up time, but the in-app purchases are caps and lunch boxes. So what you're going to get with those, you're going to be able to build more stuff. You're going to be able to get additional weapons and outfits, which essentially you would get more of if you just waited. So it's kind of like speeding up time, but you're not directly buying time.
Right. And so there are like objectives. It'll be like, build 3 water processing plants or something, and you'll get so many caps, or you'll get a lunchbox, which is like, I don't know. It's just these 3. You get 4 like random things when you get a lunchbox. So they are things that you would get in the game normally.
Yeah, if you're actually watching the YouTube video right now, and I recommend you do, I'm being attacked by raiders as we speak.
Nice.
You get to watch that. Yeah, I will say I think I've played every version of this kind of model of game, and I think this may be the greatest implementation of it I've seen. Yeah. I find it very playable, and I don't find it tedious, which I tend to find these games. I'll also say the graphics are like super, super, super good.
Yeah. And if you're familiar with Fallout, all the people are like the cartoony like Fallout guy style of people. And they say things like if you just watch them, they have little like speech bubbles that pop over their head, and they like say stuff about their lives. It's kind of cool.
So far, I've really enjoyed reading the like captain's log of the guy when he's sent him out on the away mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check that out. iOS Fallout Shelter. It's a fun little game. A good way to pass the time and get really frustrated if you're Colby. So it's a good thing. Dan, why don't you tell us about your pick, Ponder Podcast? Tell me more.
So my friend just started her own podcast, so I figured I'd give her a plug. And her first episode, I listened to a rough draft of it, and I've only begun to listen to the final version today. But it is on dating in New York, and the twist with her podcast is that she interviews people anonymously only. So sort of you get to hear some things that you might not otherwise hear if you were talking to someone and like they have their name attached to it. They're a bit more honest, a bit more forthcoming about things that you might not know about dating in New York. So check it out, ponderpodcast.com.
Cool.
Episode 1 just released yesterday.
That does sound cool.
Very good, Dan.
Sean, you're up.
Thank you, sir. This is kind of not an embarrassing pick, but we're stretching the bounds of a technology pick here, but I will do it because I think it's important.
They don't need to be technology picks.
No, this is important to me. Dan, put it this way. This is the difference between me and Dan Miller. Dan Miller talks about the critically loved series Twin Peaks on last week's show. This week, I'm going to talk to you about the summer shenanigan reality show Big Brother. If you're not familiar, they take 16 people, trap them in a house full of cameras, live stream the whole thing over the internet, and somebody at the end wins $500,000 if you've never seen it here in the U.S. I love Big Brother. I've watched it for years. It is my big summer thing, and it's really cool because it is the only reality show that is streamed online 24 hours a day, which means on Twitter at any moment, on blogs at any moment, there's always something happening. A lot of stuff doesn't even make it to the television show version of it. Like, it's really all-consuming. It's unnecessary. I really enjoy it. So I have to give a shout-out to how I watch Big Brother each summer, starting with hamsterwatch.com. They call the contestants hamsters because they're like in a cage and you watch them. At hamsterwatch.com, he is in my opinion, the number one blogger who blogs every single day about what's going on in the house, kind of writing funny quips, giving details, judging contestants, writing funny things they say, funny quotes of the day, all kinds of great stuff, hamsterwatch.com. But we got to do the tech angle. So someone developed Big Brother Buddy, which is an iOS and Android app that you can get, and it gives you all the details about what is going on in the house at any given moment. It lists information about the contestant, how they're doing in the game, what different roles they're currently playing each week. It also gives you push alerts, which I love when something happens in the house, like there's a big fight or someone wins a competition or something like that. It also collects all of the Twitter, has a custom Twitter feed with interesting people tweeting about the show. If you're a Big Brother fan, it's free. Big Brother Buddy. It's a really great way to pay attention to the show throughout the summer when you have to go to work every day and can't be actually paying attention. So that's my pick. Self-indulgent. Hamsterwatch.com. Big Brother Buddy. The two must-haves if you are a Big Brother fan. And I highly recommend you check out both and get excited. The new season starts Wednesday. So get pumped for that if that's your thing. You wonder why I don't get anything done during the summer. That's exactly why.
That's why.
That's exactly why.
I'm glad you're watching it and not me, Sean.
That's very good, Dan. That's very good. I should.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. That's exactly right. Excellent. All right. Well, gentlemen, that concludes our show for this evening. Great job all around. We do like the like Gatorade shower. I think if we were in person or something, like we won the Super Bowl because I think we did great. And I appreciate all of you out there for joining us. We had 12 people watch on YouTube Live, so we appreciate that. Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific at don'tpanic.io. And if you can't watch live, go to the website anyway, don'tpanic.io. You got the old episodes, the newest episodes, audio, video, links to subscribe, follow us on social media. It's all on this great website, Colby and Dan built. Also, links to all our picks are there as well. So if you don't remember, or if it's something really specific, go there, and they'll have the links right on the show page. So it's a win-win. Lastly, I want to remind everybody, the Goldilocks Zone this week, Colby going up in the Trivia Challenge. Colby, are you feeling ready?
Oh, I'm psyched. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not very good at trivia, and Matt is very good at trivia.
Way to talk yourself up.
We'll see what happens.
Wow, really enticing people to tune in. Watch
Colby get destroyed at trivia.
That's exactly right. GoldilocksShow.com is the website. We're taping Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we're doing it live for the first time, so you at home can watch and join in the fun. Go to GoldilocksShow.com/live Wednesday night, and that'll redirect you to the YouTube link. Otherwise, you can just search for us on YouTube, Goldilocks Show as well. So that concludes my stuff for the evening, gentlemen. Anything else before we call it quits?
I got nothing.
Got nothing. Well, join us next week for more tech news. But until then, on behalf of Colby and Dan, I wish you all a good night. And I don't know. That's it. Go home.